I'm sure you've heard the news. Welcome to our channel. Today we delve into the story of Captain Traoré, Africa's rising star, and the global protests surrounding him. From the halls of power in Washington to the streets of African capitals, a new narrative is unfolding. I'm Michael Langley, and today we'll be taking a deep dive into a story that's captivating the world: the rise of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the changing dynamics of US-Africa relations, and the wave of protests echoing across continents. We'll examine the motivations behind these events, the key players involved, and the potential consequences for Africa and the world. This is a story about power, about resistance, and about the yearning for a new world order. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey that will take us from the capitals of Africa to the heart of global power struggles. Thanks for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Our story begins in the hallowed halls of the United States Senate, where General Michael Langley, the head of U.S. Africa Command, recently made a startling admission. In a candid exchange with lawmakers, General Langley revealed the driving force behind America's military presence in Africa, countering China's growing influence. This admission, delivered with the general's characteristic bluntness, sent shockwaves through the foreign policy establishment. For years, the official narrative surrounding U.S. involvement in Africa has centered around counter-terrorism efforts and promoting democracy. But Langley's testimony pulled back the curtain, exposing a geopolitical chess match playing out on the African continent. It's a competition for resources, for influence, and ultimately, for control. And it's a competition that's forcing African nations to choose sides, navigating a complex web of alliances and interests in a rapidly changing world. China's rise as a global power has been nothing short of meteoric. From infrastructure projects to trade deals, Beijing has been steadily expanding its footprint across the African continent. This strategic expansion has not gone unnoticed in Washington. U.S. officials have grown increasingly wary of China's growing influence in Africa, viewing it as a direct challenge to American hegemony. Langley's testimony confirmed these fears, acknowledging that China's economic and military might pose as a significant challenge to U.S. interests in the region. The question now becomes, how will the United States respond to this challenge? Will it continue to rely on military solutions, or will it seek to engage in a more constructive and mutually beneficial partnership with African nations? Langley's admission has ignited a fierce debate about the future of U.S. foreign policy in Africa. Some argue that a more assertive approach is needed to counter China's growing influence. They advocate for increased military spending, stronger alliances with African partners, and a more confrontational stance towards Beijing. Others caution against a Cold War mentality, arguing that it would be counterproductive and ultimately harm U.S. interests. They believe that the best way to compete with China is to offer African nations a better alternative, one based on mutual respect, sustainable development, and shared prosperity. The stakes are high, and the choices made in Washington will have far-reaching consequences for the future of Africa and the world. Adding fuel to the fire is Julius Malema, the firebrand leader of South Africa's Economic Freedom Fighters Party. Known for his unyielding stance on social justice and economic equality, Malema has never shied away from controversy. His speeches often ignite fervor among his supporters and provoke strong reactions from his critics. Known for his fiery rhetoric and Pan-Africanist views, Malema has emerged as a vocal supporter of Captain Traoré. His alignment with Traoré is not just a political move, but a statement of solidarity with the broader Pan-African movement. Malema's support underscores a shared vision of a united Africa, free from the vestiges of colonialism and imperialism. In a recent address to his supporters, Malema made a stunning declaration. He vowed to stand shoulder to shoulder with Traoré in the face of any threat, declaring that an attack on Burkina Faso's new leader is an attack on all of Africa. This bold statement was met with cheers and applause, resonating deeply with those who have long felt marginalized and oppressed.
An attack on Burkina Faso's new leader is an attack on all of Africa. This sentiment echoes the Pan-Africanist ideology that has been a cornerstone of Malema's political career.
This declaration of solidarity sent shockwaves through the African political landscape. Leaders and citizens alike were forced to reckon with the implications of Malema's words. His commitment to Traoré is seen as a rallying cry for unity and resistance against external pressures. Malema's words, imbued with passion and defiance, resonated deeply with those who see Traoré as a symbol of hope and resistance against neo-colonialism. His speeches often serve as a catalyst for action, inspiring many to take a stand against injustice and inequality. His pledge to fight alongside Traoré is a powerful symbol of Pan-African unity, a message that transcends national borders and speaks to a shared history of struggle and a collective desire for self-determination. This commitment to unity and solidarity is a reminder of the enduring strength and resilience of the African spirit. Malema's call to action comes at a pivotal moment for Africa. The continent is grappling with a myriad of challenges: poverty, inequality, climate change, and the legacies of colonialism. In the face of these challenges, Malema's message of unity and resistance has struck a chord. His words have galvanized a new generation of Africans who are no longer content with the status quo. They are demanding change, they are demanding justice, and they are demanding a future where Africa is no longer beholden to the whims of foreign powers. Malema's vision of a united Africa, free from external interference and exploitation, is one that resonates deeply with many across the continent. Malema's unwavering support for Traoré has the potential to reshape the political landscape of Africa. His call for unity and resistance could embolden other leaders to challenge the established order. It could also inspire a new wave of Pan-African activism, uniting people across the continent in a common struggle for liberation and self-determination. However, Malema's stance is not without its critics. Some accuse him of grandstanding, of exploiting a complex situation for his own political gain. Others worry that his fiery rhetoric could inflame tensions and lead to further instability. Only time will tell what impact Malema's words will have on the future of Africa. Across the continent, a new generation of Africans are looking to Captain Traoré as a symbol of hope. They see in him a leader who embodies the spirit of resistance and the promise of a brighter future. His rise to prominence has ignited a sense of pride and determination among the youth, who are eager to break free from the shackles of neocolonialism and chart their own path forward. He represents a break from the past, a past often marred by leaders beholden to foreign interests, and a history where the voices of the people were often drowned out by the demands of external powers. This new wave of leadership, exemplified by Traoré, is a call to reclaim Africa's destiny, a past where the needs of their own people often came second. Traoré's vision is one where the welfare of the citizens is paramount, where the resources of the land are used to benefit the people, not foreign corporations. This shift in priorities is what makes him a beacon of hope for many. Traoré's commitment to Burkina Faso's sovereignty, his unwavering dedication to the principles of self-determination and national pride, has made him a target. His speeches resonate with a message of empowerment and resilience, urging his fellow Africans to stand tall and take control of their own futures. His firm stance against external influence, particularly from former colonial powers, has resonated deeply. This defiance is not just political, it's deeply personal for many Africans who have long felt the weight of foreign domination. Traoré's leadership is a rallying point for those who seek true independence. He's seen as a leader who not only understands the challenges faced by ordinary Africans, but also as someone willing to stand up for their interests. His interactions with the people are genuine, and his policies reflect a deep understanding of their struggles and aspirations, but also as someone willing to stand up for their interests. This authenticity has garnered him a loyal following, and his message of unity and self-reliance is spreading like wildfire. This wave of support isn't confined to Burkina Faso. It's spreading across the continent, fueled by social media and a growing sense of Pan-African solidarity. The digital age has allowed his message to reach far and wide, inspiring movements and discussions in countries near and far. It's spreading across the continent, fueled by social media and a growing sense of Pan-African solidarity. Young influencers and activists are amplifying his message, creating a network of support that transcends borders and unites diverse communities under a common cause. From the streets of Dakar to the bustling markets of Nairobi, the call for change is growing louder. People from all walks of life are coming together, driven by a shared vision of a free and prosperous Africa. Traoré's name is on the lips of many, a rallying cry for change. His image has become a symbol of resistance, painted on walls and carried on banners, a testament to the power of his influence, a rallying cry for change. But this groundswell of support, this challenge to the established order, hasn't gone unnoticed. The powers that be are wary of the shift in dynamics and the threat it poses to their control. But this groundswell of support, this challenge to the established order, hasn't gone unnoticed. The momentum is building, and with it, the resistance from those who fear losing their grip on power. There are whispers, allegations, of plots and plans against Captain Traoré. The corridors of power are abuzz with speculation, and the stakes have never been higher. There are whispers, allegations of plots and plans against Captain Traoré. The fear of a truly independent Africa is palpable among those who have long benefited from its subjugation. Are these the desperate acts of those clinging to power, threatened by the potential of a truly independent Africa? The answer lies in the resolve of the people and their unwavering support for leaders like Traoré. Threatened by the potential of a truly independent Africa, the winds of change are blowing, and with them, the hope for a new dawn in Africa's history. Captain Traoré's rise poses a direct challenge to the existing power dynamics in Africa. For decades, many African nations have struggled to break free from the legacy of colonialism, grappling with economic dependence and political interference. Western nations, particularly France, have maintained a significant economic and military presence in many of its former colonies. This influence, often exerted through backroom deals and support for autocratic regimes, has fueled resentment and instability. Traoré's message of self-reliance and his criticism of foreign exploitation strike at the heart of this system. His actions, including the expulsion of French troops and the review of mining contracts, are seen as a direct threat to these entrenched interests. It's no surprise then that there are those who would seek to silence him, to remove this obstacle to their continued dominance. The question is, will they succeed? The allegations of threats against Captain Traoré, whether from internal factions or external forces, highlight the dangerous game being played in Africa. The stakes are incredibly high. On one hand, you have a young leader with the potential to reshape the destiny of his nation and inspire a continent. On the other, powerful forces, both domestic and foreign, who benefit from the status quo. The international community must be vigilant. The world is watching to see how this unfolds. Will we stand by and allow a leader who dares to challenge the established order to be silenced? Or will we stand on the side of the Burkinabe people? On the side of those yearning for a future free from exploitation and interference? The answer to that question will have profound implications for the future of Africa. From the heart of Africa, where the spirit of resilience and unity has always thrived, to cities across the globe, from bustling metropolises to small towns, a wave of protests is surging, capturing the world's attention and igniting a fire of solidarity, a groundswell of support for Captain Traoré and the movement he represents. His cause has become a symbol of hope and resistance. This isn't just about one man, it's about an idea, a vision for a better future, an idea whose time has come. People are rallying for justice, equality, and the right to self-determination.
In London, Paris, and New York, major cities known for their diverse populations and vibrant cultures, demonstrators are taking to the streets, waving Burkinabe flags with pride and determination, their voices echoing with chants of solidarity, demanding change and justice. They come from all walks of life, different backgrounds and various cultures, united by a common belief in a future where African nations chart their own course, free from external interference.
The African diaspora, spread across continents yet deeply connected to their roots, with its deep-rooted connections to the continent, is playing a pivotal role in amplifying these calls for change. They understand the historical context, the long-standing struggles and the enduring spirit of resistance. They understand the historical context, the generations of struggle against colonialism and exploitation. The fight against colonialism and exploitation has been long and arduous, but the spirit of resistance remains unbroken.
This is a global movement, fueled by social media, where messages of solidarity and calls for action spread like wildfire, transcending borders and traditional alliances. People from different corners of the world are coming together. It's a testament to the power of shared values, a powerful reminder that the fight for justice and self-determination resonates far beyond national boundaries. This movement is a beacon of hope, showing that when people unite for a common cause, they can create waves of change that ripple across the globe.
These protests serve as a critical platform amplifying the message of Captain Traoré and the movement for a truly independent Africa. The world is watching and the message is clear. The era of neo-colonialism, of puppet leaders and rigged systems, is coming to an end. Social media is buzzing with hashtags like #ISupportTraoré and #AfricaToTheWorld, spreading awareness and mobilizing support. The international media can no longer ignore this story, forced to confront the uncomfortable truths about Western involvement in Africa. This global outcry is putting pressure on governments and international organizations to take a stand. Will they heed the calls for Captain Traoré's safety and respect the sovereignty of Burkina Faso? The world is watching, and the response to these protests will be a defining moment, revealing whether the international community is truly committed to a future where all nations are treated as equals. The scale and intensity of these global protests signify a potential turning point in the relationship between Africa and the West. For too long, this relationship has been defined by an imbalance of power, by exploitation and interference. The message from these demonstrations is clear. A new generation is rising, a generation unwilling to accept the status quo. They demand respect, they demand self-determination, and they are no longer afraid to raise their voices. The world is at a crossroads. Will we continue down the path of neo-colonialism, of propping up dictators and plundering resources? Or will we embrace a future of partnership and mutual respect? The answer to that question lies not just with world leaders, but with each and every one of us. We must educate ourselves about the realities of neo-colonialism, amplify the voices of those fighting for change, and hold our leaders accountable for their actions. The situation in Burkina Faso, the rise of Captain Traoré, the global protests, all point to a continent on the cusp of transformation. The old order is being challenged and the outcome is far from certain. Thank you for joining us for this special report. Stay tuned for more updates on these developing stories. I'm Anderson Cooper and we'll see you next time.